17 years ago, the creators of the Saw film, James Wan and Leigh Whannell, who served as writer, co-producer, and co-starred in the film, had no idea that their film would be so popular. They weren't ready for what the film succeeded. When they earned more than 80 times of its budget, their movie appeared as the most profitable horror film of all time, including 6 sequels to the original and a spin-off, Jigsaw, released in 2017. Let's go into the film and see what made this horror thriller so popular. The tapes. This is one of the movies where even at the beginning you're feeling tension and you're craving for more. Let's be honest, not every horror movie manages to keep your attention at the very first minute of the movie. The film starts with Adam as he's awakening inside a bathtub, inside an old, disgusting bathroom, with an object being absorbed in the bathtub drains. Now, there's another man in the room. His name is Lawrence Gordon. They're both in the same situation as they are caught with chains. However, in the middle of the place, there's a corpse. The man's corpse is holding a revolver and a tape recorder player, and he looks like he has killed himself. Soon after, Adam finds a tape in his pocket, and the same case happens with Lawrence. They both listen to the tapes, and Adam's message makes Lawrence go forward and find a way to leave the room through signs which are obviously hard to find in the place they found themselves in. Now, Lawrence's message contains a bullet, commanding him to kill Adam before 6 p.m. If he doesn't do this, his wife and daughter would be killed, and he would be left to die in the room. Both of them think of a way to escape. One clue directs them to a heart shape formed into the cistern at the WC tank. They discovered a pair of hacksaws and some photos that Adam hides from Lawrence. Both of them try to cut the chains, but there's no success in that. And Lawrence comes up with the idea that the hacksaws were intended for their legs and not the chains. This brings him to the conclusion that this is someone he has heard of, a killer, a person who trapped his victims but didn't kill them. Instead, the situations he put them in did. Jigsaw. Lawrence's flashback shows that he knew of the Jigsaw killer because his pen light was discovered on one of the scenes of the Jigsaw killings, so he was a suspect. And this is where you question yourself, is he somehow involved in this? Why was his pen light in the place? One of the sick games this killer played involved a man who was killed by being trapped inside a cage with razor chains. The purpose? To see how much damage he could cause to himself when trying to escape. While Lawrence ends up free, he needs to witness the statement of the only survivor from the Jigsaw evil game, Amanda Young. She is presented as a drug addict who was held imprisoned with a reverse bear trap strapped to her mouth that would spring open and tear her jaws apart if she didn't open the lock in the trap. Now, the main problem is the key. Since it is Jigsaw we're talking about, the key is inside the stomach of, as he says, her soulmate. Amanda then opens his stomach and takes the key. The whole scene was probably one of the most disturbing scenes in the movie. However, this event did save Amanda in some way, as she no longer uses drugs, and from this point, you could see that the killer picks up his victims according to how they live their lives. The officers. We saw how close the investigating officer David Tapp and his assistant Stephen Singh were to catching the Jigsaw killer, but the mission was unsuccessful since Jigsaw ended up cutting Tapp's throat and Singh got his head blown off. So after this, Tapp survives, but he stays alone and doesn't give up. He actually believes that Lawrence is the killer, and he gets obsessed with finding anything that would prove this. Oh, he's also moved from the force. Now, when it comes to Allison and Diana, Lawrence's wife and daughter are kept imprisoned in their house at gunpoint that Tapp has been watching on. Adam finds out that there's a camera behind the mirror, and they were watched by the person that got them through there, a monitor at their home. Later, a clue helps Lawrence find a box hidden in the room that includes 2 cigarettes, a lighter, and a cell phone that is not working properly. This is where we discover how they both ended up there. Plot twists. When it comes to Lawrence, his capture happened when he was kidnapped by a man with a pig-faced mask, the last night when he left his home for an emergency in the hospital and as he was trying to use his cell phone. This is where we find out that Adam knew about Lawrence's affair with his student. He also tells that he was paid to photograph Lawrence, and when Lawrence asks him to describe the man that paid him to do that, all physical characteristics led to Tap. We also figure out that Adam was also taken from his own apartment by the same pig-masked figure. After this, Lawrence and Adam decide to overplay the person that got them there, and their plan is Adam faking choking and dying after smoking one of the cigarettes soaked in the corpse's poisoned blood. But things don't go as planned since Adam is zapped through the chains and he arouses. After this, Adam shows Lawrence the photographs he took of him as he spotted them in the cistern. However, they notice a photograph of a man which is inside Lawrence's house. He's looking out a window. This man is Zepp, and we saw him at the beginning of the film in the hospital, so this is where everyone believes he's the killer. While they're discussing, the clock hits 6, and we found out before that Zepp is a person forced to kill Allison and Diana as part of the game. He does that or he dies. These are the rules. Tension. At Lawrence's place, Allison succeeds to save herself and Tap intervenes, sensing something strange, and fights Zepp, who almost escapes, giving Tap a pursuit, directing them back to a sewage treatment facility. Later, Tap is shot in the chest, and Allison and Diana are back at the house. Now, the situation with Lawrence gets worse. He thinks the best idea is to cut his own foot, and he does this. Lawrence then crawls across and uses the corpse's revolver to kill Adam. He shoots him in the shoulder. Zepp goes into the bathroom and tries to kill Lawrence, saying it to be the rules. But Adam saves Lawrence as he kills Zed by hitting him to death with the cistern lid. So Lawrence crawls out for help while Adam accidentally finds the tape in Zed's dead body. He plays the tape and finds out that Zed was part of the killer's game. So, who's the killer? This is probably the best plot twist in the movie, since, out of nowhere, the corpse that was the whole time in the room wakes up, explains to John Kramer the real Jigsaw killer. He is a patient of Lawrence, diagnosed with terminal cancer. During the whole movie, we heard the killer saying he is sick of people who don't appreciate life. The ending. In the end, Adam tries to shoot him, but the killer uses a remote control, and he says that the key to his lock has been washed down the bathtub drain as he woke up. He turns off the light and leaves the place saying, "Game over," leaving Adam in the room to helplessly die. The possibility that Lawrence also dies is huge. Saw receives a huge success since the franchise's debut in 2004, and the film remains one of the most popular modern horror franchises to date. Saw has sparked other movies like Escape Room and Would You Rather after its debut. The original film has some additions with a movie that inspired sequels of its own, but they never reached the success they hoped for. However, the movie was mainly popular in the 2000s, since back then, some subjects used in Saw were very rare. The killer is a remarkably intelligent and crazy murderer who never kills. Instead, he captures people in death traps where they are forced to suffer damage to leave. His story is presented through character discussion in Saw, along with one of the greatest twist endings in horror history. His character would then be developed and his philosophy opened in later Saw movies. Author Aaron Michael Kerner, in his book Torture Porn in the Wake of 9/11, Horror, Exploitation, and the Cinema of Sensation, says, without ever stating as much, the philosophy that Jigsaw subscribes to is that of libertinage. He is governed strictly by reason, and he executes his games dispassionately. The traps in the games are explicitly designed so that the players and victims can extricate themselves if they precisely abide by the rules. And this is Jigsaw's lesson, to remove ethics and emotion from the execution of justice. Staying alive. Though the following films took more exciting twists, Saw is a film that will get you thinking, how far would you go to stay alive? Would you open up a body to get a key? Would you kill another person to save yourself? Jigsaw tried to send the message of the importance of life. We also need to mention the crazy plot twist, especially at the very end, and we all know how important a good plot twist is in a film, especially a horror thriller. What started as a single dark record with horrific connections in 2004 Saws developed over 6 years and 6 films released yearly into something even more twisted. With each new sequel to James Wan's original horror thriller, the mythology of the series' deadly leader, Torben Bell, became more and more complex. On a related note, what do you guys think about Saw? Do you have your favorite thing about the film? You can tell us in the comments section below. If you enjoyed our video, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching.